Hi, my name is Thinh Tran. I am doing a video presentation for my assignment 3 for operational improvement. This video presentation talks about the 5 things that I expected to learn and I did learn in relation to the module of operational improvement. I'll be talking about, again, those 5 things and how sort of that's affected me in my leadership style. But I guess I also wanted to say that I did thoroughly enjoy operational improvement. Um, because it was relevant and it really brought things into perspective about the current way that the organisation works. And students do this first 2 assignments really did make me think about the positives and the setbacks and the drawbacks and the barriers of potentially operational improvement success and also failure as well. So the first thing was how our industries have changed over the years and what has changed, and especially with technologies moving so fast, and what are the implications. This really did actually highlight to me how now, well, what we see, how organizations work, compared to where it was even just 10 years ago, um, and how they've streamlined their processes. You just go to the supermarket like that. You just have to the way that things are so different now with the use of technologies. Um, how does the conversation start on operational improvement? What triggers it? Why do we need it? Uh, and when do we need it? And obviously, when that happens, what are its strategies? What makes it successful? You know, is it just a buzzword? What what are our steps that we need to take to go there? And then what are the approaches and what are the methods um, of successful operating improvements? And um, how do we know which method to use? Um, and again, what are barriers? And as I learned from my first 2 assignments, or the assignment 1, assignment 2, there are barriers that can actually make operational improvement fail. Um, so what are those barriers and how do you overcome those barriers? So how has industries changed? Industry 4.0, we talked a lot about that through this unit. And this was the bit that really did interest me was where we are now with industry 4.0, especially now that we've gone to, you know, beyond automation, but with artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, having multiple systems be able to talk to each other. Um, for them to then streamline the process, make processes run more efficiently, faster, um, and a lot more cost effective as well. Um, and I remember learning through the module as well that in time when Industry 4.0 fully evolved, they removed the need for large factories, bringing jobs back locally where things can be manufactured there and then on demand. So how has that changed? How change affected industries? It's affected how things are done. As an example, through what I'm such as say, for example, from a supermarket point of view, it can predict what a buyer will be buying. Um, it can predict how much of it they will be buying and how often they'll be buying it. It can then, in time, trigger, okay, so when do stock need to be ordered that we don't run out of stock? This is more efficient way and keep costs down, similar to the firm model of just in time, where things are ordered just as they are needed because that way you don't have to pay for storage. That way there's less wastage. It's ordered, it's used, and it's gone. And then the new one is ordered, so it's always fresh as well. So it means that there's less wastage and they could keep the cost down for the end user. So it becomes a win-win situation. This is just an example, of how industries have changed um, through the industry 4.0. So how does conversation start? The operational performance is a way of measuring how well the team is doing in terms of efficiency and productivity. Operational performance is used by organizations to determine if a team is functioning well and contributing positively to the company, or if the team requires training, restructuring, or additional support to begin adding significant value to the company's overarching goals. So we need to analyze the surroundings. Are we meeting the KPIs? As the KPIs remain the same each year, are we pushing ourselves to be better? As operation managers, we need to continually scan the market for emerging trends. We don't just have to. We don't rest on our previous success or current successes, because especially now with Industry 4.0, industries are moving so fast. You have to try to stay on top of it. So what are the 5 stages of operational improvement cycles? The first one is actually around process design. So we can think about the process for mechanisms like systems or handoffs, activities that are prescriptive and repetitive. And then from there, the next step is change management. It's about modifying the behavior of the workers. However, the more complex and critical changes in processes, the more impactful true change management will be the success. The third one is data collection. And this is the important part, is that it builds the information that we need. It builds knowledge management. It's a foundation that if we were to use the artificial intelligence, that it does, that uses that information that we collect, data that we collect, to help build and streamline the processes. Data analysis. Well, once we're collecting data, we don't analyze it. So how do we interpret that data? What does that data mean to us? Gap analysis and iteration, and it's a fifth step there, is analyzing the disparity between what you expect would happen as a result of implementing your process and the reality of what could happen by implementing it. Those are 5 stages, just very basic 5 stages of operational improvement cycles. The source is written on the bottom of that diagram. So what are the strategies? What do you need? So you need strategies, not just a plan. So what you need, part of change management, is you need the right people who's familiar with the process. You need to know what the process is. When we're talking about aligning the process and aligning the technologies, you need to data and information as to know what your goal are. Make sure you have the right technologies around you to be able to achieve that goal, as well as that it's achievable. So as part of, in the video from Harvard Business Review, the strategies, here is why we need to be on the playing field, and here is why we're going to be better. That's part of strategy. Is planning for success. It is strategy for success. It's not just a plan. It's a way of moving forward. But most importantly, strategies need to be adaptive. So what are the approaches and the methods? I won't go through all of them, but there are 7 approaches in operational management. I'll use the ones that I learned, that I focus a lot on in my second assignment, but also add another one, which is the lean approach. It's similar to the example used in the supermarket, where there is no wastage, and Toyota is famous for that, for using the lean principle with the just-in-time principle. But I guess the thing with the lean principle that I believe may have, from a Toyota's point of view, that they weren't able to be adaptive. And from my reading through the material and going through this unit, I think where Toyota is now post-COVID is actually what has caused its downfall. Because when you combine a Toyota car now, as an example, there's up to a 4-year wait on it because they don't have the parts. They weren't able to keep up. They didn't have enough inventory for when the world shut down during COVID. They weren't able to get the parts, especially the other automakers. That's from what I have observed from a lean, where that hasn't worked. For the lean, it has good, but it wasn't there. There were no room for errors. And in the case of COVID, when everything shut down, there wasn't a plan B. The next method that I'm basically going to talk about is knowledge management. That was covered in my assignment number 2. It's how we manage this knowledge, to make information useful. It's about training. It's about communication. It's about how we get the message across, then expand to customer knowledge management. It's how well we know customers about what they want and how we can tailor our services or sell the product that they want at the time that they need it. And business process reengineering, BPR, it's a radical redesign of the method, a complete change of how something is done because something is not working. We need to gut it out. We need to restart again. But again, for BPR to work, it needs 3 key steps, which is effective communication, consultation with stakeholder, as well as strong leadership. Because the purpose of BPR is for a purpose of improvement. It is major change for the purpose of improvement. But without having the 3 key steps, BPR would more than likely fail. Effective communication, consultation, as well as stakeholder involvement and strong leadership, which are to steer the ship in the right direction. So what are the barriers? Change resistance. So not everyone goes the same. Resistance in technology becomes too hard or too complex or too onerous. Similar to my assignment number 1, introduction to technology, where it becomes too hard, where we weren't able to sell that idea of why we need this new technology. And then when you try and implement another new technology, that old thought comes back into our mind again, or the worker's mind again, goes, oh, here we go again. Not being agile, or resting on current success. That lean approach, as I mentioned before, that does not allow enough room for plan B. As again with Toyota during COVID, they didn't have a plan B. And even to now, from what I've seen with Toyota, is that they haven't been able to catch up. Like, as an example, you're going to buy a new car from Toyota now, you're still waiting 2-3 years to get a new car. Because they didn't have enough in the inventory to continue building the car when everything's up there. Information overload, not properly managing the information. End users don't know how to access information. They don't know how to use it. Information is one thing, but if it's not accessible, if people don't understand it, that information is not worth the piece of paper that it's written on. So these are the barriers. These are the barriers on what causes operational improvements to fail. So on reflection, so how technology has advanced and where we are with technology. I've always heard of AI and commercials in the media, but this module has really shown me what artificial intelligence can do and how far Industry 4.0 can take us and its possibilities. And in all honesty, I'm so excited to see where it can take us in another 10 years, yet alone 2050, when it's expected to be. Where would that bring us? Embracing change. Change is part of evolution, and I've seen companies fail or get caught out because they're resting on the previous success. There is a reason for change. I see now that change is part of learning and improvement. It's evolving to something better and smarter. This unit has shown me that it's not just change, but that there's not progress or improvement. By fixing something that's not broken, it can make it stronger and reduce the risk of it ever breaking. Strong leadership, that is very important from my point of view, because if you portray confidence in the idea that you're selling, there's a greater chance that you can sell that idea. Strong leadership can steer the ship in the right direction, ensure the conversation that is flowing in the right direction, and we're talking about the right thing. We're talking about the same thing. That everyone's on the same page. So that's basically, and that has changed me, because that has given me the roadmap for my leadership style and my leadership practices from this unit. And I really did appreciate and I really did enjoy this module. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for this module.